Hey guys, HackerSploit here, back again with another video, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to access Tor on Linux through the command line, and I'm just going to be explaining why and how this is extremely important and why I think Tor is still quite important when it comes down to anonymity, especially in this current year and time. Alright, so before we actually get started with what I'm going to be doing, I already have described a part of this when we're talking about using the Tor service with Linux. If you just watch my proxy chains video, which absolutely works till now, you can see that all I'm really doing is passing my traffic through the Tor proxy. And a lot of people don't understand how I use the local host with the port 9050. That is simply the port that is being used by the Tor relay or by the Tor proxy on your system. So in installing Tor, and I'm not talking about the Tor browser, because the Tor browser is separate from actually installing the Tor service on your system, which is accessed through the command line. It has no graphical user interface. Essentially what that does is allow you to connect to the Tor network, and how you access it or how you use it is up to you. And we saw that. I used it with proxy chains. Now a lot of you have been asking, well, can we use this proxy through a browser? Yes, you can. And this is where the whole idea of a Tor browser came into place. Is many people said, all right, I want to access the Tor relay or the Tor proxy or the Tor network. I can do it through my command line. I can pass my traffic through it. I can tunnel my traffic through it. Can I actually use my browser to actually encrypt my traffic and to provide me with anonymity? Absolutely. And this is where the whole idea of using the proxy came into play, and that is how Tor created a browser which is simply a normal Firefox browser. The only thing different is the fact that it has plugins like the NoScript plugin, and it allows you to have plugins that essentially enhance your anonymity and security when it comes down to encryption, so on and so forth. All right. Now, this is why I still hold Tor as very, very important. And a lot of you guys have brought this up, is why should we use Tor with the the uprising of VPNs? Now, VPNs are also extremely important, but a lot of you, or some of you, have actually pointed out that yes, why would we use Tor over a VPN? All right, why would we do that? And this also brings you to ask yourself the question, well, why were VPN companies or services created? VPN services were created to fill in a gap. All right, there was a huge demand in services that or solutions that could provide anonymity and encryption to end users. When people started hearing that their governments were spying on them, it all became a question of, all right, how do I stop this, or how can I mitigate this? And there were already solutions out there. Like one of them was Tor. It's sad to see that no one has really come to implement Tor in solutions that can even work on mobile. Now, of course, you can use Tor on your Android device and your iOS devices. But what about providing a service, a VPN-like service that would essentially anonymize your entire system? All right, so essentially VPN services came in to fill the hole that Tor could not fill at that time. Not that it can't be filled, but just it really wasn't satisfying. So these companies were out there to sort of give people, you can say, to put it really, really simply, they were just trying to give people a peace of mind in the sense that you just have to click on a different country and that changes your location. So the website thinks you're coming, for example, website thinks you're coming from a different location. So that gives you anonymity. The other thing that a VPN offers you is encryption. But the question that only a few people have raised is, all right, that's fine. But remember, I'm passing my traffic onto you, Mr. VPN service. How do I know that you are going to keep my data safe? And this is why I love Tor, because Tor is completely decentralized. Remember, it's a peer-to-peer network, which means not one single person is holding everyone's data. You see, that can be extremely dangerous. And now as we're moving into the future, we're starting to look at how decentralization can really help or sort a lot of these issues that we face. And now we can see it already existed in the facet of anonymity. All right. So with a VPN, remember, your data might be encrypted, your data, you might be anonymous, but your data is still passing through a centralized party that can choose to do whatever they want with the data. So that is the whole dilemma with VPN services, and why I still, honestly prefer Tor. Now, of course, the disadvantages of Tor is that it's extremely slow. You can't really go about doing normal browsing stuff with Tor. For example, watching YouTube videos can be a real struggle. And you might be saying, well, I have watched YouTube videos. Try and play a 720p video through the Tor network. It's agonizingly terrible and slow. So, that is the problem with Tor so far, is the fact that we cannot, just jump ship and use Tor as we would, use Tor for browsing as we would with VPN services. So VPN services provide you with speed, encryption, and anonymity, but the biggest downfall is the fact that your data is still centralized. It's just simply as I would have said, today if I created my own proxy and my own SOCKS 5 proxy, and I told all of you as my subscribers, hey, you know what, you want to be anonymous, connect to my proxy and I'll guarantee you that. Well, are you going to simply trust me because I told you? That's the thing. And of course, in this world that we're living in today, we live in a trust-based society. What do I mean by this? You can tell if you trust someone just by how they talk to you and how they express themselves. And so goes, with companies. You trust some companies more than the others. For example, many people tend to trust already established brands like Apple or Samsung when it comes down to buying their mobile devices. That's fine, and that's true. Samsung and Apple right now currently give you, in my opinion, some of the the best well-made devices in the world. All right, but that's one way of looking at it. Are you ready to trust a company that's just started, from a place you've never heard before? It's really something that you have to take into consideration. Now, I know, of course, this video has turned more into me rambling about security and anonymity, but this is something that I'm really passionate about and something that I want to educate people about. So when it comes down to using Tor on Linux, I've already showed you how to use the Tor service or how to tunnel your traffic through Tor using proxy chains. But what if you wanted to use a standard Firefox installation on Linux and you just simply want to understand how everything's going to work? Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to make sure you have your sources updated, your packages all updated, and you can use the aptitude package manager to get the Tor service installed. And it's very simple: apt-get install Tor. All right, and I hit enter. Now I already have it installed, and it's simply just going to check if there's a newer version, and there isn't at this time, so it's not going to update mine. And voila, you have the Tor service installed. Now, once you have the Tor service installed, all you need to do is start the Tor service. All right, so I'm just going to start it. Service Tor start. All right, and I'm going to hit enter, and that is going to start the Tor service on my local host on port 9050. That is why in proxy chains you could see that I was passing my traffic through a SOCKS 5 proxy. Tor is a SOCKS 5 proxy through your local host on port 9050. So what would I have to do here to essentially access the Tor network, or to use it for anonymity, if I was to say that? Well, I have a Firefox browser open here, and I'm going to use Foxy proxy, and I'm going to add a new proxy. And in this case, I'm just going to go to options. All right, and I'm going to add a new proxy here, and I'll use the proxy type is a SOCKS 5 proxy, and I'll give this let's give it a nice purplish kind of the Tor the onion color. There we are. We'll use that purple, and I'll call this Tor, and the IP address is essentially your local host 0.0.1, and the port is 9050. All right, you can also check this or confirm this by using netstat. All right, if I was to use netstat and ANTP, and I was to grep for something like Tor, you can see that indeed it is on your local host on port 9050. All right, so yeah, pretty much you can access it like that. So the port is 9050. We don't need any username or password, so I'm just going to hit save. All right, and now what I'm going to do is the Tor proxy is currently on, which or is currently active. Let me just use the Tor proxy for all URLs, and well, we are going to open up the all famous or the infamous DNS leaktest.com, and we're just going to test our IP. Now, of course, this is the disadvantage that I was talking about, is that Tor is, you know, kind of slow, and a lot of people have brought this up and they think it's their connection. Well, not really. Now, you can see that it is working. Now, I haven't changed my my DNS settings, which you guys might be saying, well, Alexis, come on, man, how can you be slacking like this? Well, that's something that I also wanted to talk to you about. If you are going to use Tor, the last step that you need to do is make sure that you are not leaking any DNS information. And how can you do this? You can do this by changing your DNS settings in the resolved.configuration file found in the etc folder. You can do that. It's really very simple, and I'm actually sure I've made a video on that, so you can check that out as well. Alright, so we're just going to test for any DNS leaks here, and yeah, there we are. We do not have any DNS leaks at all, and primarily because on my host operating system, all my traffic is flowing through Cloudflare. You can actually see that right there. Alright, so yeah, that's how to pass your traffic through Tor, you know, through your browser. Well, first, how to pass your browser traffic through Tor. Now, you might be asking, well, what are the differences between the Tor browser and using it this way? Well, you can see with the Tor browser, it gives you a little bit of more freedom in regards to how you control your environment. So, for example, it's very security and privacy based. So it tells you not to maximize your screen, which I'm currently doing, which is not good. It then has plugins like the NoScript and HTTPS everywhere, which I highly recommend you install. And essentially that's what the Tor browser does. The Tor browser is simply there to automate the process of connecting to the Tor network and to give you a privacy based browser that discourages you from making, you know, common mistakes, like, for example, running all JavaScript code, you know, on sites that you really cannot trust. So yeah, that is pretty much what I wanted to explain in this video, and I know it might seem like a very simple video, but a lot of people need to understand how it really works and how this technology can be utilized for the betterment of our society. Alright, so yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you found value in this video or if you enjoyed it, please leave a like down below. If you have any questions or suggestions, let me know in the comment section, on my social networks, or on my website, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Peace.